Welcome back. So in your life, have you ever struggled with wondering what was true and what was not true? Well, today we're going to talk about and discuss if in fact, is there absolute truth? So have you ever wondered if there is an absolute truth or not, or if everything is just relative, that your truth is your truth for you and my truth is my truth for me? Well, if there is an absolute truth, would it be important to know? Today we're going to talk about that. We live in a society today where more and more people, it seems, believe that there is no absolute truth, that each one of us get to decide for ourselves what is true for us, and you get to decide for yourself what is true for you. What do you think about that? Is that being something that you have struggled with? Well, let's think about it for a minute. So if I'm on the side of the belief that there is no absolute truth, then think about that. Because what I just did was contradict my own belief. Because that belief says that the truth is there is no absolute truth. So if there's one truth, which is there's no absolute truth, could it be that there are other truths? Well, I believe that there are absolute truths. And whether we believe that or not doesn't change the truth or doesn't change what is. But our beliefs drive our behaviors, and our behaviors give us our outcomes. So if we have beliefs that are incorrect, that are not based on truth, and we behave in accordance with those beliefs, are we going to get the outcomes in life that we are striving for? The answer is no, because if we have faulty beliefs, we're going to have faulty behaviors, and we will not have the outcomes that we're striving or searching for in our life. So I think the problem is that sometimes we get confused or we mix up truth and preferences and beliefs. Because in some things there is no truth, but in some things there is. For example, I like chocolate ice cream, so I think chocolate ice cream is the best. Is that true, or is that just my preference? Is there one correct way to fold the laundry, or is it preference? Is there one correct way to put the toilet paper on the toilet paper dispenser, or is that preference? So what about a belief that there is a God or there isn't a God? That's a little bit different because that depends on faith. That's something that we don't know for sure, but some people have some really strong beliefs about that. Well, what if I believe that I can walk off a cliff and float? What will happen? Will I float? No, I'm probably going to fall. Well, not probably. I will fall. So there are some things in life that are true, that exist, and that are. And there are other things that are beliefs that may or may not be based on truth. And there are preferences, which each one of us have the right to prefer or have preferences for lots of things in our life. So what's important for us to know and understand in our life is to be able to know what is the difference between something that where there is an absolute truth versus when it is a preference or a belief. Because when there are principles or laws or truths that exist, again, in order for us to have the outcomes in life that we want, we have to know what those principles are and then make sure that our behavior is in alignment with those principles. Another example for that would be if I believe that 2 + 2 = 5, I can believe that all I want, but as long as I believe that, I'm going to keep coming up with the wrong answer. So our beliefs drive our behaviors, which give us our outcomes. So the cool thing about this life in which we live is there are consequences for everything that we do. So every choice that we make, there's a consequence or an outcome, which allows us to pay attention to the thoughts and beliefs that are driving our behavior. And when we have outcomes that are not working, it helps us know that you know what, maybe we need to examine our thoughts and our beliefs and be willing to consider that maybe those thoughts and beliefs are not based on truth. It could be that maybe I thought that my belief was true. Maybe I thought that this was just a preference, that there was no absolute truth, but maybe there is. And if we can identify what those are, and again, align our behavior with those truths, we'll begin to achieve and experience the outcomes that we want in life, probably one of the most important of which is happiness. Because everything we do in life, we do it because we believe that it's going to make our life better. It's going to help us experience more happiness in our life. So if you are one of those individuals who believes that there is no absolute truth, I would encourage you to be willing to question that belief, to think about some of the things that I mentioned on the video today. See if you have answers for those questions. And if not, ask yourself, why are you so determined to hang on to that belief? And it's okay to do that if you want, but at least ask yourself the question, why? Why is it important for me to hang on to this belief? What would I be giving up if I gave up that belief? This is part one of a two-part video. So on the next one, we're going to talk again about whether there's absolute truth or not, and why absolute truth is important and in fact critical to our survival. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope that if some of what I shared is different than what you believe, I encourage you to at least have an open mind and to consider it. And we're going to do a follow-up video now that talks about why it is important that absolute truths do exist, and not only important, but critical to our survival.